The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. We hear Jesus sending out the disciples. This is what in Matthew is called the mission discourse. How is it that we are called to go forth? And even at that time, Jesus knew that the harvest was plenty. There was much work to be done. There were people everywhere that needed to hear and see and know the love and healing power of God. And yet Jesus also knew that he'd been able to accumulate 12 guys. They were like imperfect, just like us. He decided that maybe perfection wasn't their goal, and that maybe we all needed to know that we are all beloved children of God, and that each one of us in our own individual way, through our own individual story, with our own individual passions, we are the ones to be able to let each other know about the enormous love and healing power of God. So we even heard this morning the names of the disciples. And we know, because many of us, as I look out over the congregation, have heard the whole story, so you know that most of these people have their day. She laughed. I so wanted to preach on Genesis, but if I did, it would take you down a whole other road for the afternoon. So that's going to have to be a written one. Because, we had discipleship to talk about today, but we hear this morning about Jesus calling the disciples to go forth. But what gets in the way of that? Things get in the way for us, right? Over and over again. Well, we're not disciples. What does that mean? Well, however you get your news, wherever you get your information around the world, if you don't turn it on and find out that the harvest is plenty, call us. There are people of all sizes, shapes, varieties, political parties, all different walks of life that need to know and find God. That it's good news, even if you're in the midst of a dark time. And we are those people. But the laborers are few. Even back then, Jesus had trouble finding people to lead ministry. We have not come that far, have we? But when we are able to be called, how is it that we can live into that call? And everyone is different. We need to figure out where we would do that. How on earth? I'm just fill in the blank. I'm not a disciple. I love God, I pray, but where would I do it? Where would I do it? Nicole said yes against every outward, and everybody would have told her, are you out of your mind? And she said yes. People would have said, oh, your husband's already a priest, just be holy. just be a good holy wife. Oh, Nicole, you have a little one. That's your ministry. Daddy. I love children. I have two. You know me. People would have said, what? But for some reason, God, Nicole knew that she needed to say yes. She knew that she loved her husband, she knows she loves her son, she knows she loves her life, but she knew that the harvest was plenty and the laborers were few and that we needed people. And I will even go so far as to say, because I can't help it today, we need women that are smart and strong and faithful leaders. Her husband would agree with me. So she said, I don't know there, but it doesn't matter that I'm married, it doesn't matter that I'm lucky, it doesn't matter that I have a son, somehow or other, I need to say yes. How is it that we get to say yes? Tasks. There are some here that know me far too well and know that my to-do lists get lost. Know that I have gotten much better. Kevin, stop. Know that, I long to be really well organized. And I have gotten much better, and by the time I die, I might be better. Nicole knew coming into this that because she was married, because she had a little, she knew that this was not going to be easy. She knew that she couldn't just fly by the seat of her pants, but I will tell you, I don't think she would have done that at age 3. She's not a fly by the seat of your pants kind of person. But the tasks, we all need to know what our tasks are, right? We all need to know what we need to do. Because a call to God kind of turns our world upside down. And each one of you know that. I look out over this congregation and I know so many of you that are disciples, that are doing that are finding your way to be who God needs you to be in the world. Not the way I am, not the way Nicole is, or Kathy is, or Sarah, but you are finding your way. So we need to find ways, and Nicole has done that. Her lists don't get lost. She knows how to keep things in order. And those of us that drive her crazy, although I've done pretty well. I think she would tell you. I have, because I didn't want to look like a loser, which worked out really well. But she has gone any length. She has reminded me what it's like. When I went to seminary, I had 2 young children, 22 months apart. And my then husband, to his credit, is a great guy. If it hadn't been for being able to juggle that, I wouldn't be able to be here. And I have been reminded, and she has juggled that for the call. She's juggled that because she knows it's what God's calling her to do. There are some days she slides in here, and Francis is with a friend that has lots of trucks. We say yes. Jesus says, just go forth, here. Tell people the word, do the work, the heart. There are people everywhere that need you. Support. We all need support. Don't we need like-minded people? We need people. I was telling a story yesterday. I won't tell it because it'll take too long and it's not about me. But what I was saying over and over again was God kept showing up. And then it's true, everybody isn't really spiritual. I said, whatever you call it, that man was an angel. We need support. We need to know what it is we look like. When Nicole knew that she needed an internship, one of the things she knew she needed, which she said in her letter, was that she wanted to be able to work or be mentored by a woman who knew what it was like to be a woman in the church. She knew she wanted to learn how to do church. Can I just tell you, one of the first things I said to her, not about being a woman, but to know as an adult learner, I went back as an adult also, to know that you are going to do a new job and that you'd like to learn the skills for that job, hello, that's really a sign of wisdom. But one of the blessings we've had this year has been, someone close to me said, you're not just showing her how to be a priest, you're getting the chance to tell her who you are. And that has been an enormous gift, because when we say yes to God, especially the way some of us do, we have to go to any length, because sometimes it is a lot. Men still get the doors open easier. It's true. Men with families are still getting the jobs in this church, and we are a good church. We are trying hard. We are, the Southern Baptist Church just said no to women in any area of leadership this week. So, the Episcopal Church, we are in good shape. I am glad I'm in this lane. But as women, it is important for us to support and love and form and train each other. What difference does it all make? At the end of the day, what difference does it all make? It makes a difference because we each know, whatever it is that's interesting to you, we each know that the harvest is plenty. There are people everywhere, no matter who you are, no matter what you watch, no matter what your interest is. It doesn't matter. There is someone you see in the course of your day that needs some light, that needs some hope. It makes a difference because we need to know that this church, perhaps not exactly the way we're meeting, you have heard me and Nicole has heard me say it so many times. I am convinced that the church isn't dying. I believe it's changing. Because what we need, each of us, you, me, all of us, hasn't changed from the time Sarah and Abraham were walking the face of the earth, or for what the world that Francis, Nicole's little, is going to walk. People need hope. They need to know they are loved and cared for. They need to know that there's something outside of themselves that loves them beyond their wildest imagination, and they need to be able to do that in community. God does show up over and over and over again. Today is a day we hold up Nicole's discipleship, but it is really important, and she gets this, that it isn't about her, that it is about all of us, that it is about you and you and you, because we are the ones that go back out into the field. She and I wear fancy clothes. I think many of you heard me say, my first bishop used to say to me, Sue, because that's a whole other story, but she used to say to me, Sue, God ordains some people because God doesn't trust them anywhere else. I don't think that's true for Nicole, but it was true for me. So, we are not all called to be ordained persons. But I will say that I am enormously grateful for the future of the church that I ridiculously love. And I don't mean St. Thomas, you know I love you. I mean the church, the place where people need to be able to come to know God. Whether we have to change, that's cool. Out, in, all around. But I know that the church saved in my life. I know that people like you, that were God's light and love, have saved my life. And I know that Nicole and all of you get that. A woman that I worked with a couple of years ago and is, in all churches, but in the Episcopal Church, we have some people that we call like Episcopal rock stars. Like the Lutheran Church has Nadia Bolz-Weber. We have Becca Stevens. And she's a chaplain at Vanderbilt University, has been there for a long time. But the thing she's best known for is that she was the founder of Thistle Farms. It is a program in Nashville, Tennessee that works with women coming out of the sex trade. And I went down and was there for a week and worked with her. She came up here for a while. But she is a very down-to-earth, but some would call heretical, at Vanderbilt, a very academic institution. She loves to preach, up on the stage without her shoes on. She just does Becca. She doesn't try to do you or me. She just does what she believes God's calling her to do. And this week, she celebrates 32 years of ordained ministry. And when she posted about this is what she said. I care less about dogma now and just want to practice the doggedness of love. I believe in less things, but what I am left believing buckles my knees in gratitude. That's why you hear me struggling. Does it feel that same way? I am so thankful for the people who have allowed me to walk alongside them on a stretch of their spiritual journeys. I am so grateful for all the forgiveness I have known in the mistakes that I have made. And I am so grateful that I still weep sometimes at communion because I can feel the tenderness in the breaking of the bread. Some of us are called to this. Many of you know what this feels like. You don't have to be ordained to know it. But I am grateful to you all for receiving Nicole, because also know that because you were able to receive and be willing to form new ministry, that makes us better. That makes us better, and that's all about you. That's not about me or Nicole. She could have gone into another congregation and it would have been a completely different experience. All that's to say, when we hear the words that Becca leaves us with this morning, I want to remind you all that the harvest is plenty. There is work for all of us to do. With all of your help, we have helped. On the beginning of Nicole's formation, we will send her off and we will continue to pray for her because the harvest is plenty and we are still here. We will be laboring and we will perhaps get to welcome other new people. We will get to be able to spread the light and love of God in whatever way we're called to. Because that is what we're called to. I believe in less things, but what I am left believing buckles my knees with gratitude.